The trading post at Epsilon Station reeked of desperation and cheap fuel. Eleanor stood in the shadows of the cargo bay, her small hands trembling as she watched the transaction unfold. Her mother, if she could still call her that, was haggling over price with a Vrelian merchant whose scales gleamed an oily purple under the harsh lights. "The girl is young, healthy, prime labor material," her mother said, voice flat and businesslike. "I want 3,000 credits. Not a digit less." Eleanor's heart hammered against her ribs. She'd known this day might come. Ever since the colony on Kepler 442b had failed and they'd fled with nothing but the clothes on their backs. But knowing and experiencing were universes apart. The Vrelian clicked its mandibles. 2,000. Human children are common goods these days. Jasper watched from the upper observation deck. His jaw clenched so tight he thought his teeth might crack. He'd come to Epsilon Station to resupply his ship, not to witness the casual trafficking of a child. But humanity had fallen far since the Great Collapse, and in the outer sectors human life had become tragically cheap. He was about to turn away. What could one freelance pilot do against an entire system? When he saw her, the alien princess, she wasn't supposed to be here. Princess Zara of the Celestian Empire, daughter of High Regent Tholran, should have been light years away in the safety of her palace ships. Instead, she stood at the edge of the crowd, her crystalline skin catching the light like fractured starlight, her silver eyes fixed on the human child below. Jasper had hauled Celestian cargo before. He knew their reputation, proud, ancient, and utterly indifferent to the plight of lesser species. But something in Princess Zara's expression made him pause. The Vrelian merchant reached for Eleanor's arm, sealing the deal. The girl flinched but didn't cry. She'd learned long ago that tears changed nothing. Then Princess Zara moved. She descended the stairs with fluid grace, her royal robes flowing like liquid mercury. The crowd parted instinctively. Celestians commanded respect even in lawless places like this. She approached the merchant and Eleanor's mother with a presence that seemed to make the very air hum with authority. "Stop this transaction," she said, her voice resonating with harmonics that human ears could barely process. The Vrelian merchant recoiled. "Your Highness, this is legitimate commerce. The human woman has the right to—" "I am aware of your laws," Zara interrupted, her silver eyes never leaving Eleanor's face. "I am not contesting the legality. I am making a counteroffer." Eleanor's mother stepped forward, greed sparking in her eyes. "Your Highness, if you're interested in purchasing the girl, I'm certain we can negotiate a price more fitting for—" "No." Zara's voice cut through the station's ambient noise like a blade. She knelt before Eleanor, bringing herself eye level with the child. For a long moment she simply looked at her, and Eleanor, terrified, abandoned, sold like cargo, looked back. "I understand the terms," Zara said softly, still addressing Eleanor. "A child for credits. A life for survival." She straightened, turning to face the merchant and the mother. "I propose an exchange. Take me instead." The cargo bay fell silent. Jasper gripped the railing. Was she insane? A Celestian princess offering herself in trade for a human child? The Vrelian merchant's translator struggled with the stammering sounds it made. "Your Highness, this is impossible, unthinkable. I am offering myself in place of this child. By your laws, I am a sentient being capable of labor. My value far exceeds 2,000 credits. My ransom alone would set you wealthy for 10 lifetimes. Do you accept the trade, or shall I take my offer elsewhere?" Eleanor's mother looked like she'd been struck. "But the princess, my people will pay handsomely for my return," Zara said calmly. "Far more than you would receive for this child. Do we have an agreement?" Jasper couldn't watch anymore. He stormed down to the cargo bay, pushing through the crowd. "This is insane. You can't trade yourself for—" Zara's silver eyes met his, and in them he saw something he'd never expected from a Celestian. Fierce, burning compassion. "Can't I?" she asked. "Is not every intelligent being entitled to determine their own fate? The child cannot consent." "I can, Your Highness," Jasper said, changing tactics. "There are other ways. I can pay for the girl's freedom myself. You don't have to—" "But I do." Zara placed a hand on Eleanor's shoulder. This child's mother chose survival over love. But humanity taught the galaxy something precious long ago. Something we immortal races forgot. That the strong should protect the weak not because of law or logic, but because it is right. Because a civilization that abandons its children has already fallen, no matter how many stars it controls. She turned back to the merchant. Well, the Vrelians greed warred with its fear. Finally, greed won. Ice accept. But when your father's fleet comes, when my father comes, you will tell him his daughter made this choice freely, that she remembered what the humans once taught us. Nobility is defined not by birth, but by sacrifice. Jasper watched in stunned silence as Princess Zara gently pushed Eleanor toward him. Take her, she whispered. Teach her that she was worth this, that humanity is worth remembering. Eleanor clutched Jasper's hand, tears finally streaming down her face. Why? She whispered to the princess. Why would you do this for me? Zara smiled, and it was like watching a star being born. Because long ago a human saved my grandmother when our ship crashed on Earth. He had nothing. No wealth, no status. But he gave everything to help a stranger from the stars. I learned then that humanity's true strength was never their technology or their numbers. It was their stubborn, beautiful refusal to let injustice stand unchallenged. She looked up at Jasper. Get her somewhere safe, and tell your people their princess remembers their gift. 3 hours later, Jasper's ship broke atmosphere with Eleanor safely aboard. Behind them, Epsilon Station erupted with activity as Celestian warships arrived to retrieve their princess. But Zaira had bought enough time. Eleanor stood at the viewport watching the stars streak past. Will she be okay? Jasper nodded. Celestians take care of their own, and I suspect her father will be very proud. Why did she call it humanity's gift? Jasper smiled sadly. Because we taught them something they'd forgotten, kid. That some things are worth more than survival. That compassion isn't weakness, it's the only thing that makes us strong. In the distance, a Celestian flagship turned toward human space, carrying a princess who had just reminded the galaxy why humanity, despite everything, still mattered.